January 20th, 2012. Police are called to an apartment in Arlington, Texas, and find 33-year-old Irasema Chavez dead, stabbed more than 100 times. It's not a break-in gone wrong. Whoever did this stayed. The scene tells investigators this was personal, even before they have a single name to work with. Detectives collect what they can: surveillance footage from around the building, and a blood droplet recovered from a TV stand in the bedroom, evidence that doesn't belong to the victim. Here's the problem: a blood sample is only useful once you have something to compare it to. Run it against every criminal database available in 2012, and it comes back with nothing. No match means no name, and no name means the case sits, evidence collected, filed, waiting on a comparison that, for over a decade, never comes. Tips get chase. Leads dry up. The surveillance footage gets reviewed and re-reviewed. None of it produces a suspect the DA's office can actually charge. Cold doesn't mean careless. Arlington PD didn't stop working the file. They ran out of what 2012-era forensic tools could actually do with the evidence they had. Irasema Chavez was 33. Those who knew her described someone with a wide circle of friends around Arlington, which, as the case ages, becomes its own quiet problem. Too many people who knew her, not enough way to narrow it down. For over a decade, an entire community around her lives with an unsolved violent death a few miles from where she slept. No arrest, no public suspect, just a case number. Then, in 2024, Arlington PD's homicide unit does something departments increasingly turn to when a DNA sample has no criminal database match. They bring it to the FBI's Dallas field office for investigative genetic genealogy. Traditional DNA testing checks a sample against CODIS, the FBI's database of people already convicted or arrested. If your suspect was never in the system, CODIS comes back empty. That's the wall this case has been sitting behind since 2012. Investigative genetic genealogy doesn't need the suspect in that database at all. It builds a family tree, instead running the crime scene DNA against public genealogy sites where ordinary people upload their own results for completely unrelated reasons. A third cousin who took a test out of curiosity. A grandparent tracing family history. None of them are suspects in anything, but their DNA, sitting in a public database, can be the thread an analyst follows backward toward a name. Over roughly a year of tracing that tree outward and narrowing branches, the FBI's team arrives at a name in 2025. Mayra Velasquez, not a stranger, but someone who knew Irasema Chavez personally, and who lived only a few miles from the apartment. A genealogy hit isn't proof by itself, it's a lead. Investigators still need something that directly ties Velasquez to that blood droplet from 2012. So in May 2026, detectives do something simple. They collect DNA from trash Velasquez discarded, no warrant needed for what's already been thrown away. The crime lab runs against the sample from the bedroom TV stand. 14 years after the killing, it's a match. On July 17, 2026, Mayra Velasquez is arrested and charged with capital murder. She's held without bond. Investigators say they're still working to determine a motive. What breaks this case isn't a new eyewitness or a deathbed confession. It's the same blood droplet that's been sitting in evidence storage since 2012, finally run against a database that didn't exist in a useful form back then. Irasema Chavez was 33 years old. 14 years after she was killed, the answer wasn't a mystery anymore. It was sitting in evidence the entire time, waiting for the science to catch up.